Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to 8 Letters Live. The month is ending tomorrow, but there's no stopping us from featuring awesome books by local authors. This is also the first time that I'll be featuring an author whose book is already on my shelf. Bumili talaga ako nito like I think some weeks back kasi madaling ma-sold out ang mga libro niya. And this book, I think, is the third book of this author. She has been writing for years. Okay? So, hindi na to bago sa kanya, pero lagi siyang, I would say, laging pinipilahan na kanya mga libro. Sino ba ang guest natin today? Okay, she writes stories and illustrates them as well. No? I met her also in a comic convention a long, long time ago. Okay, she illustrates and writes something about them, and essentially, she is a storyteller. And later on, you'll see her pages at ilalabas din natin ang kanyang Patreon account. Please welcome Arli Pagaduan. Hello, Arli.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Chris. Thank you for having me here.
Good afternoon. Congratulations on your book. Meron ako niyan, syempre, The Things We're Afraid to Say. Yan.
Thank you.
Excited talaga ako kasi talaga excited ako kasi ngayon lang kita makasama sa isang launch. Alright. So, although minabasa na ako doon sa libro mo, kunwari hindi ko pa nababasa, no? What inspired you to write The Things We're Afraid to Say?
The things we're afraid to say, it's mainly about the relationships and connections we make with the people in our lives. So it's a collection of short stories and prose with friendship and love as the main themes. So I was inspired to create that because life is short, and for me, it's very important to be able to say the things that we need to say, even though we're afraid to say them to the people in our lives, even though they're friends or family or someone who's special to us.
What were the stories in this book about you, or were these also inspired by stories of other people?
These are fictional, so I'm just drawing from like personal experiences, getting inspiration from that, as well as my own beliefs and ruminations about friendship and love.
How would you compare this to your first two books? I think, di ba meron ka ng dalawa or apat na yata? Pang-apat na yata
Dapat,
ito.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The things we're afraid to say, it's about more on love. It has friendship as its themes, but it's more on love. Then the first book, Seedlings, it's also a collection of short stories, very short stories, but it has different themes like hope, faith, loneliness. So there are positive and negative things about it in this book. Then though she's weak naman, it's more on my personal journey about faith. And thirdly, I wrote this to remind you that is more on bulleted reminders just to keep me, reminded of the important things in life. And that's how the things we're afraid to say differs because it's something more intimate and it's about love.
Do you see yourself, kasi this is your fourth book, no? Do you see
Mm-hmm.
yourself like growing, or meron kang changes na nakita from the first book? Say, for example, with the content, with the art style? Ganyan.
I think yes, there was growth, and also in terms of writing. Because in my first three books, these were stories that I wrote for a long since 2013 or 2009. Some of them even as early as 2009. So, in the things we're afraid to say, I think this helped me launch or kickstart my growth more as an author kasi this is the first book that I worked with an editor. In the first three books, I didn't yet because I didn't know anyone yet during that time. And then with the first book, The Things We're Afraid to Say, I worked with KB Maniado, who is an amazing
Yes.
friend and
The
editor.
amazing KB.
Yes. She made every story much better than what I have imagined and planned out. So yun, I learned a lot from KB, and through my past experiences kasi self-publishing, yung you get to learn more on trial and error. So yung
Yes.
mga mistakes from before, you apply in the next books that you're gonna make. Yun.
I'm going to like get a keyword from the title, afraid.
Mm.
Okay, and then
Okay.
we're gonna use that to jumpstart the next set of questions. Okay, what what were you afraid of in terms of writing and creating art? Ano yung
Okay.
pinakatakot mo? Yeah.
Fears. Okay. Something that I feel every day. Siguro in writing and creating,
Mm.
yung for it to not matter to
Mm.
to to another person. Kasi, I mean, it's one thing for me to, syempre, to appreciate what I put out, to understand the things that I wrote, kasi I wrote it, pero I want it to mean something else na hindi lang for me. Like, I want somebody else to feel comforted, to feel hopeful in the words and the art that I create. Kasi I mean, at first, syempre, you're writing for yourself, you're the first audience, but then I want it to be so much bigger, for it to matter to somebody else, lalo na to people who can really, really relate to the stories in the book.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And how
How
about
about
naman yung,
you?
for example, sa libro mismo, no? Ano yung when you were writing although these are fictional, but when you wrote the stories and the poems, was there like one particular entry that you said, afraid akong isulat ito or something, or parang, oh, I don't think I can finish this entry, ganyan. Meron ba parang
Mm,
tumagos, ganun,
mm.
nahirapan ka?
There are some here, like siguro three that I didn't want to put because they were a bit too close to home, like very similar
Mm-hmm.
to how I feel, as in exactly how I feel. But then KB and I, my editor si KB, we talked it over. I mean, this is the book's title is the things we're afraid to say. Why not? Why are you afraid to put it out? Put it there. So we included it there. We included it there na din sa book.
So, sige,
Yun.
mamaya meron tayong live reading. So, ikaw, kung
Okay.
namili ka na, hindi ko alam kung yun yung babasahin mo, yung medyo natakot kang
Hindi naman.
i-include, but we'll see. Okay. Sige, my next question is about your creative process na, no? As a writer and as an artist. Like, what's the usual routine before you start creating or making art? Until completion.
Okay. Um, it's gonna be a bit mixed lang for me kasi yun, I think I am able to communicate in two ways, in words and in drawings. So my process is a bit jumbled up. Sometimes it starts off with words. Sometimes it starts off with drawing. So, kunwari, I'm gonna draw something and then I'm gonna see a story from that drawing. Then vice versa. I'm gonna write something like from a prompt. And then I will draw it. I will draw it naman. Ganon. Then I just try to write while as I think. So parang kunyari, either on the phone or on paper, I would just write continuously. I'm not minding too much about grammar or if it makes sense. The important thing is to lay it all down first. Then the rewriting, the revising comes after. Kasi that's always the hard part for me, yung getting the intangible things from your
Yes.
thoughts and feelings onto paper. Sometimes it looks clear in your head, but to put it down, it's
Hindi
tough to
mahirap.
find the right words.
And,
Yun. So that's
mm-mm.
sorry. Go ahead.
Sige lang po, continue.
Okay. Ayun, that's how I started. Then as soon as I get to lay it all down in one document or on paper, that's when the revising happens, rewriting happens. Tapos magda-drawing naman ako based on those words.
Okay. Paano naman yung, for example, ito sakit na maraming creatives to eh. Yung, I don't know what to write or I don't know what to draw. Yan. Diba? How do you
Uh,
deal with that? Or uso ba sa'yo yun? Yung parang, yung block, creative block.
yes, of course. I think everyone goes through that, goes through art blocks.
Mm-hmm.
When I encounter those, sometimes it's like that na, what am I gonna draw? Parang ano, wala akong ano. Or it can also be another way na, or for me, another problem is parang pare-pareho na lang yung dinodrawing ko. Laging halaman, laging ganito yung pose, laging ganito yung theme. So parang repetitive siya. So when I'm encountering those art blocks or problems, I try to step away from from art muna, and I try to do something else entirely, like probably read a book, or exercise, or run, or bike, or basta ibang-iba talaga from the usual writing and drawing. Yun, that's one thing. So at least mafa-freshen up yung mind ko. And then another thing is, once I'm done with that, I go back to painting or drawing without a care in the world. So parang nag-experiment ka lang without any inhibitions. Paint as you go, paint as you are. Yung parang when we were kids, we didn't think too much about the style, or about what the illustrations that we're making mean. Kaya, ayun lang, it's important to go back to playing, by painting, by drawing, as freely as you can. Yeah, that's how I get myself through the obstacles of creating.
Naisip ko yung sinabi mo na you do something different also. No? You try to do something different. No? What kind of Arli Pagaduan is reflected in the things we're afraid to say?
Okay. This is a side of Arlie that's very, um, I think it's a personal thing, kasi yun nga, it's about friendship and love. These are themes na I realized I wrote so much about. So I think for me, I'm a person who's very emotional, and I tend to I really it's important for me to say important things to people, like how I appreciate them, how I'm grateful for them. Yun. So, dun, makikita sa book yung parang ganong thoughts ko about friendship and love and communicating important things.
Gusto ko rin yung ano eh, hindi ko alam if ganun din yung nabasa ng iba. Pero natutuwa ko dun sa ibang nabasa ko na dito because ultimately, this book is about courage, di ba? It's about
Yeah.
being brave enough to
Mhm.
express yourself. No?
Mhm.
Okay. At mamaya malalaman natin kung ano-ano kaya yung mga bagay na we are afraid to say and how we're going to find courage in them. No? Okay. So, bago tayo mapunta sa live reading, ano yung best or you would say your favorite no, part either of the book or the process, the creating process?
Okay. So here are my favorite parts, dalawa. My favorite part of the writing process was yung gathering the stories that I made, that I wrote, that I would include in the book. So it's such an elating feeling to see them all copy paste sa isang document. Ah, yan na, nabubuo na. Ayun. Even though it's just the early part of the book, parang it's a tangible thing na makita mo nasa isang document na sila. Ready na sila to be rewritten, to be revised. Yun. Tas, second part na favorite ko is illustrating. Yun. Kasi I like to illustrate as well. So, my books, where all of the books that I made have illustration. So, yun. Super enjoy din ako syempre sa pag-drawing. Translating the stories into drawings.
Yun yung tatak Arlie, no? Like when you see a book, alam mo na, uy, in-illustrate talaga to ni Arlie. Talaga yun yung style mo na rin talaga. And
Mm.
I've seen some of your books also pati dun sa Facebook when I see your posts. Talagang meron kang I don't know technique na ginagamit ano sa pag-draw.
Mhm.
Okay? And hindi ko naman wala akong maisip na parang term art term for that. Pero
Mhm.
napaka, ano bang tawag doon? Ang gentle tignan. Ewan ko, parang, well, I can find the words. But ang gentle tignan, pati nung drawing, parang when you read it, parang kakalma ka bigla. Parang this is
Oh,
something
thank
that's very
you.
soothing. And even the words. Guys, kung friend kayo ni Arlie, okay, basahin niyo yung mga posts niyan. Ako minsan naiiyak, natatouch ako sa mga post nila, lalo na pag may connection sa pusa. Ano, my goodness. I
Oh.
don't know if there's
Oh my
something
God.
about a cat or pets here sa The Things We're Afraid to Say, but kakaiyak yung mga posts niya. No? And of course, her entries in the book. Okay. Na second question ko naman is, ano yung least favorite mo naman? Least
Okay.
favorite, parang, ay, bakit, parang, sige na nga, lalagay ko to dito, gano'n.
Okay. The least favorite part of the process for me would be the writing. The actual writing, kasi it takes a lot of effort, time, headaches, blood, sweat, and tears. Kasi, I mean, you're sitting on your chair, just working on reading the same sentence over and over, or staring at a blank piece of paper for a long time. Yun yung super least favorite, but also it's the most rewarding naman kasi I mean ito writing talaga eh. It's
Yeah.
the most rewarding kasi you're able to put your thoughts and feelings onto paper and coming from nothing. Yeah.
Tsaka para ka nanganganak, ano? Ay, how
Yeah.
much time did you spend on this? Para kasing, I remember, kaka-release mo nung isa. And after some time, eto na, meron ka na The Things We're Afraid to Say. Parang
Mhm.
what's the usual timeline for you pag nagsusulat ka?
Okay. Since sa books ko, most of them came from past writings before, tapos I also wrote some of them recently. I think hindi ko na isasama yung gano'n katagal. Pero yung bookmaking process na lang, siguro it takes around 3 to 4 months from the writing to the editing to the illustrating, making the layout, tsaka yung proofreading din. Yun, it takes mga ganun, 3 to 4 months.
Anong sikreto? Anong sikreto dun sa pag-achieve dun sa 3 to 4 months? Gusto namin nyo. Yan, si John or Jean? John? Any tips? Sige, umpisahan natin dun sa how to complete the book in 3 to 4 months. Yeah.
Okay. I think, you need, para sa akin, it's very important to put in a little bit of work every day than to do nothing. The power of small increments. Ganun. Kunwari, right now I'm working on something, tapos I try to write like just 300 words a day, ganun, 350 words a day. Tapos yun na, parang when you add it all up, kunyari, sa February, 28 days, you wrote parang 350 words a day, ilan na yung nasulat mo nun? So yun, you need to make time, just 10 minutes. Just write anything, kahit hindi man 350 words, when you're able to put something on that paper, andun na yun eh, at least nagawa mo na. So yun, power of small increments. So kapag nasulat mo na, okay, next step, ano naman, editing naman. So you're gonna share the manuscript to the editor. Yun din, small increments ulit. Okay, isang story muna yung i-review ko ngayon. Yun lang siya for me. That's how I was able to do it.
And to crammers like me, that is how you vanquish the giant of ano yun, yung block, no? Writer's block at hindi mabit
Oo.
yung deadline. Yan. One, the power of small increments. Okay. Yan ang
Mm.
kinakatakot ng ibang writers kasi yung writer's block.
Mm.
Okay.
Yep.
Any tips naman, for example, on writing something so intimate and personal as your book?
Okay. Siguro, write as you are. Yun, write as you are, write how you see how you see life, how you see the world. Parang that's how you can give people a glimpse of your own perspective. And tapos, it's also very important to look inside yourself and draw inspiration from your personal experiences. Tapos ayun, if whether it's fiction or non-fiction, makukuha yan ng readers mo eh. So, ayun, that's one very important thing, write as you are.
Authenticity.
Mm.
Right. Okay. Kung meron tayong the things we're afraid to say, meron din tayong the things we are afraid to hear. Ayan. Ano
Mm.
naman ang tip mo dun sa halimbawa, takot na takot mag-express. I'm afraid to show who I really am or right as I am. Kasi baka my colleague will say this, my family might say this,
Mhm.
my boyfriend or girlfriend might say this. Yun naman. What's your
Okay.
advice?
For me, kasi I'm very shy. So,
Mm.
and very introverted. So, it takes a lot of courage right now to speak. Kahit alam ko virtual, ano pa
Yes.
rin, there's still that fear. So, um, ano ba? Things we're afraid to hear. Siguro yung tip ko is, hindi naman tip, but an advice or just a reminder siguro na some people may say things that can be a bit harsh or untrue, but ano lang, instead of focusing on those words, try to listen to what the people who are supporting you are saying. Kasi even though there may be objections or the tiny voice in our head na minsan I
Mhm.
mean, we are our own critic. Yung we need to focus more on dun sa mga nagsusupport sa atin. So, yun yung para sa akin lang. I mean, hindi naman natin maalis that some people will not resonate with what we create, and that's okay. Yung there's no connection lang. Pero we can focus on the people who are 100% can relate to what you're saying and or what you're making. Yun yung I think the important thing is yan.
Focus on what matters. Okay.
Mm.
Thank you, Arli. Ayan. At marami ko congratulates, congratulate sa'yo. Okay, let's just have a quick shout out to Ruth
Okay.
Byrne, who is saying congratulations. SC Quezon, watching from San Diego pala si Ruth. Hello. Good evening.
Bye.
Ayan, good evening. Faye Sebastian, hello Arlie. Si KB, yeah, the wonderful KB Menyado. Naranasan
Maybe
ko na rin
editor.
ma-edit ni KB, my goodness.
Oh.
Ralph Ruiz, ayan, awesome, congrats. Christian, Nix, Mika or Micah, John, and Claudine. And si Cindy, nandito rin. Congratulations, Arlie. Sabi niya si Kate and then si Ricky Jones. Ayan, Arlie Potter. Ang tawag sa'yo ni Ricky Jones. Ayan, we are proud of you. We're also proud that, we are featuring your book. Nasa 8 letters na siya.
Thank you, eight
Okay.
letters.
Ayan, we've now come to one of the best parts of 8 Letters Live at magbabasa na si Arlie. Shy siya, kanina pa yan, I'm nervous, sabi niya, I'm nervous. Well, surprise, magbabasa ka. Okay. Well, magbabasa ka ng chosen excerpt mo ng galing sa The Things We're Afraid to Say. Okay, take it
Okay.
away.
Okay. I'm going to read a lot of people like this one eh. So this is what I'm gonna read na lang. Teka, hanapin ko lang siya. Wait lang. Mamaya mawala na. Eto, okay. So, ito siya. Saan na yun? Parallel. And so may illustration din siya. Ayan. So, parallel. I understand math not in the way the kids in Quiz Bees do, or how our geometry teacher teaches it in high school. Theorems, postulates, proof, angles, and lines. I remember geometry in words rather than in equations. Equilateral means all sides were equal. Equidistant means equal distances. And parallel lines mean lines or objects that have the same distance constantly in between. I understand parallel lines in time, space, and relationships better than in equations and coordinates. Euclid, father of geometry, can you please tell me why would parallel lines never meet at all, even through infinity? Parallel, side by side, next to you, next to me. Maybe this is better than perpendicular lines, intersecting, meeting at one point, and then going on separate ways farther and farther from each other. Perhaps there's beauty and comfort and certainty and company in parallel lines. At least they're going the same way. At least they're aware of each other. And maybe, just maybe, when I hold out my hand to my side, I'd feel that he's been holding out his hand too, and suddenly the distance closes. I pass my homework to my geometry teacher and tell him that I've proven that parallel lines can meet, that parallel universes can collide, not in mathematics, not in Euclid's world, but in the poets, in his and in mine. Parallel from the things we're afraid to say. Yun na.
My goodness. I had goosebumps. I had goosebumps. My goodness. Ano ba yun? I was, there was, that was such a powerful poem. Grabe yung emotions. My goodness. Kasi ako, sorry konting kwentos, ang tendency ko pag nakarinig na ako ng mga mathematics, ano yun? Ang dami
Oo.
ko ng question marks, diba? Pero nung binabasa siya ni Arli, my gosh, talaga nagtayuan yung balahibo ko. No joke. Iba-iba
Thank
siya pag binabasa, iba rin siya pag, when you're holding the book and you're reading it. But the author reading it, talagang naniniwala ako na personal siya. Personal and
you.
heartfelt and it's really, really intimate. Thank you so much, Arlie. Yan, sabi nila, ang galing. Arlie, di ako naniniwala tuloy sa'yo na introvert ka. Bakit ganun ka magbasa?
Wala.
Pwede ka pwede ka mag-poetry
Sarili
session. Pwede ka
Thank
mag-poetry
you.
session. Sobrang siya, emotions, grabe, no? Nagpo-pour out siya. Ayan, sabi ni Ruth, very nice, perfect. Tatanong si John kung available ba to sa National Bookstore. Hindi pa. Pero nasa Shopee siya ng
Letters.
8 letters yan. Nasa 8 letters website. Okay, mamaya lalabas na yan. Okay. Ayan. But yes, ipa-flash natin ang book cover. Yes, please. Can we flash the book cover so people can see? Yun naman. Diba? Oo. Kompleto kami dyan. The things we're afraid to say. Okay. Written and illustrated by Arli, Pagaduan. And again, as you've seen earlier, merong mga illustrations sa loob. Okay. Nakakatuwa. Ilang pages ito? How many pages? There are colored illustrations, no? There's
Yeah.
black and white. There's also colored illustrations.
Mm-mm.
Okay. And, teka, ilang how many? I think 113,
Yeah.
14, 15, 115 pages in all. Sulit na sulit. My goodness. How much does this cost? Sabi ni Kate, can we show the clip of your reading to our geometry teacher? Oo naman. Yes, please. Please,
Wala.
please do show that to your geometry teacher.
Oh
How
my God.
much does this cost?
It
Pakita
costs,
natin ang ating website.
yeah, 595.
595.
Yes.
Super sulit for a book na ganito kaganda with the illustration. Sobrang sulit yung 595. Okay, sabi ni Connie, you did it with flying colors. Yay! Thank you. Thank you to 8 letters. Thank you po, Miss Connie, for watching. Ayan. Okay, Arlie, when can we when tuloy, where can we find you?
Uh,
What are your pages and Patreon Patreon page?
you can find more of my works at artipagaduan.com. Tapos, Facebook, The Art and Stories of Arli Pagaduan. Then on Instagram, my handle is at Arli Pagaduan. Yun. Then I also have Patreon for those who want to see more of the behind the scenes and more of my writing exercises there. You can support me for as low as $1 a month. It's patreon.com/Arli Pagaduan. Yun.
Ayun na.
Uh,
Naka-flash sa ating screens where you can find the platforms, no? Where you can find Arlie. Okay, maraming salamat, Arlie, for sharing your poem. Ayan na siya. Okay. Tapos nagtatanong, where can you buy this? How to order? You just have to add to cart. Tama-tama. Tomorrow is Sahod Day. Add to cart. Okay. Add to cart na kayo dyan. And I guarantee, I promise, hindi kayo masisisi. Like I said, I also have this book and I've read some of the contents already. Hindi tayo mapapahiya pagdating kay Arlie. Thank you so much. And follow her on her platforms, on her Facebook account kasi ang dami-dami niya insights to share also. Yan. Abangan natin ang next book ni Arlie.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh,
salamat sa inyong mga nagpunta.
thank you.
Salamat, Arlie. Congratulations on your book. We'll see you again next week, March na yun, next week for another book launch. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Enjoy
everyone.
the rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.